All right, so I want to issue a real quick trigger warning that in this video I talk about two very sensitive topics, and that's death and grief. This is a video that I recorded back here in February of this year, and it's coming from two very specific but connected perspectives for me, and that is the work I've been able to do over the past year with my counselor, as well as my faith belief. Now, I know not everyone shares the same faith as me, so none of the material in here is designed to be insensitive to anyone who may have had a loved one pass away who doesn't share the same belief as me. This is like any other I'm gonna be frank, where I'm just sharing my process and hopefully encouraging somebody. Now, with all that being said, I completely understand and won't be offended if you decide not to watch or listen this week. I'll catch you on the next one. But if you do decide to watch and listen, just keep in mind that this is me being vulnerable about the passing of my father last year and how I've been processing that. So just please keep things respectful in the comments. All right. I'ma be frank. Nah, 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 nah. Oh, I'ma be frank. Yeah, yeah. I'ma be frank. Loss. Death is trifling, and there ain't no other way to put it other than that. It's trifling. It is. And April 8th, 2021 is when my dad fell asleep. Now, I know that's like a weird way to say, you know, he passed away or he died, but that is more of an accurate depiction of the truth of what happened and what is to come. Now, obviously, this was a really hard time for me. And there's so many days that go by that where I still miss him, that I still want to, you know, hear him tell these corny jokes, you know, these goofy riddles, hear his, you know, his laugh and all that stuff. But that event happening in my life is what led me to finally start doing therapy. And I think there's either a clothing line or a saying that's called Jesus in Therapy. And yes, I highly, highly recommend that. There is power, healing, and restoration in both individually, you know, your relationship with God and doing therapy. But I promise you, melding both, because both reflect God's love and his nature in the healing process. So doing both is I highly recommend that. Chef's kiss to the max. But it was doing both of those things together is what allowed me to really experience healing and restoration and unexplainable peace about the whole thing. These two verses really helped comfort me in this really hard time, and it encouraged me and gave me hope. The first one, it comes from 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 13 through 19. Now, the subcategory or subtitle for it is Believers Who Have Died. And it reads, "Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again. And so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. According to the Lord's word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will be with the Lord forever. Therefore, encourage one another with these words." I honestly never knew about this Bible verse until I was literally looking up Bible verses about death and grieving. And I was just like, literally the Bible is telling us to encourage one another when we have lost a loved one who is a believer. Like, they're not dead. They're just asleep. And we will see them again, because here it is. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 20 reads, but Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. With the Messiah dying and then being raised from the dead, that was his offering. He offered himself so that the first fruits of that offering is for people like my dad who is asleep in the Lord, like whoever you may have lost who are believers who are in the Lord. Like that's a promise. You know what I'm saying? So there's hope when people who are believers pass away. When our loved ones, friends, family, colleagues, whoever, when they pass away, there's hope. That's not the final thing. There's hope. And that's comforting. Now, does any of these verses make the grieving process any easier? Not necessarily. Everyone grieves differently, and they process differently. But it is vital to know that the grieving process is extremely normal and healthy to go through the grieving process and allow it the time and space that it needs, no matter how little time it takes or how long of amount of time that it takes. It's not a checklist to get through all the stages of grieving. It's not a checklist. Allow it the time that it needs. You might find a few years later that it could be like a bird tweeting or something, and you hear it and you're just like, man, that reminds me of whoever I lost that's close to me, and it might make you sad. Don't fight that. Don't be like, oh shoot, I already passed this, I shouldn't be. You allow it to be, and allow it to be with the Lord. Feel that with the Lord. That's the key.